Like, what's wrong with me today?
Hey guys.
Hi!
What's wrong with me today?
Oh.
We are live. I don't know if there's anybody watching, but even if there isn't, you can always watch later. We are Chips and Salsa, two homeschool moms, always bringing you fun, encouraging, and practical tips.
Yes. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button so you don't miss any of our videos. We are always trying to give you the best material to help encourage you and keep you going on your homeschool journey.
Yeah, so we thought today we would do a fall check-in because we actually have one scheduled for ourselves, and we're like, why not share it
Yeah.
with you guys, because that is something that we really want to encourage moms to do. So it's a good time for a check-in. Why? Because the holidays are about to arrive and things are going to slow down or stop, and so it's a good time to change things, tweak things, and really see what we what's going on, kind of like look at the big picture of what we've done so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, we decided this year that we're going to try to get together the first Monday of every month and do a check-in, spiritual check-in, just kind of catch up on how the systems are going in our homes and with one another and where we're at spiritually and emotionally.
Yeah, because that really affects everything we do. So I had a question on Instagram too long ago about how you reset from bad days.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I said, it really, introspection is really necessary because there are so many factors that trigger bad days, and it's just our humanity, really, constantly.
Yeah.
So, but it can be you're overtired, you're hormonal. I mean, there's so many things that can affect it, and that's why it's good to slow down and see what is affecting and what's triggering those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and one thing that we both, I think, said was the law of entropy at work in our homes. Just everything getting kind of chaotic and messy really does impact the way that you feel and the way that you interact with your kids.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so we touched on introspection. So how are you feeling, and how are your kids feeling? Because that's one of the beauty and the gifts that we have as homeschool parents, is being able to gauge and gauge the temperature, of our
Right.
homeschool, and how our kids are feeling and how they're reacting to certain things.
Well, for me, last month was really powerful. The Holy Spirit was really talking to me about stress and me not even realizing that I was stressed out, but my behavior, the way I was talking to the kids, the way I was feeling inside, I was stressed, but not really acknowledging it. And even when I'm really stressed, Jimena always says, "Oh, you're like she's always trying to help me because I'll get this tightness in my chest even." And I know that I'm stressed when I like eat away at the skin on the side of my nail. You see how terrible it is right now. Um, because I'm not dealing with my emotions and I'm not taking breaths. I'm just getting myself I get myself worked up when I feel like I'm in a tight time schedule.
Right.
And then I start getting all frantic that we're not going to get everything done in the time allotted. But I'm the one putting all the pressure on my own self. And it's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know why I do that.
Well, you brought up a really good point. I'm reading a book called Emotionally Healthy Spirituality by Peter Scazzero. Highly recommend it. It talks about that, like you're not paying attention to your emotions, and you're just going, and you're not slowing down to see what is causing those symptoms. There's a deeper root, right?
Yeah.
And I think that as moms, we're busy, and we can get into this rut of just going, and making sure, that we feel caught up and accomplished in our homeschool, in our homes, make sure that everything's super, clean to our expectations. And then on top of that, she's a pastor's wife. So, there's a lot of responsibility. And I see it in my life all the time too. It's like I don't slow down to see what's going on. And
Right.
sometimes I feel like, do I want to slow down to see what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, is it a fear thing? So they are challenging us at our church to take minutes of, you know, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes of silence and solitude at least twice a day. And really, what that does,
Ooh.
yeah, and what that does is it just shows you how crazy our minds are.
Right.
Because the moment you do that, it's like, whoa, like that's how I feel. Like, just, I feel like I try and
Yeah.
then my head just goes,
Well, that's also a symptom of the adrenal
Yeah,
issue,
fatigue.
adrenal fatigue,
Yeah,
when you can't get your mind
right.
quiet.
But I think most of us suffer from overload, information overload, and
Yep.
most of us suffer from adrenal fatigue. So on that,
I'm gonna write that down in my goals for this month.
there you go. On that topic, self care has been big for me this month. And I was determined this month that I was going to take care of myself physically because I had pretty bad adrenal fatigue. And so I'm taking supplements. I laid off on caffeine significantly. And my diet and supplements, like keeping on top of my supplements that I know, it's going to help me. So we're women, right? I'm 40 and I'm having hormonal issues, so even taking supplements for that. And so I've been doing all that. And needless to say, I feel like I have a lot more energy. I'm a lot calmer. And I have the physical and mental and emotional capacity to be more patient with my kids. Because I was finding myself just so irritated all the time with them. And then like irritated at co-op with all the kids. And I was like, what's wrong with me? Like, I'm just not enjoying this. And it was me. So taking the time to pray and seeing what's going on inside of me, it could be physical too. So
Right.
that's been
Well, I'm so
something.
glad that you're doing that.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Well, it's really been helping me. I also wanted to mention, because you said you were talking about, well, we were talking about triggers. So triggers are another thing to really look out for. I'll share a little bit of my story since you shared the stress, but like just a couple days ago, I had a really, it was a really vulnerable conversation with my daughter because she just kind of broke down. She'd been doing math and she was really not happy with it at all, and she was feeling just really defeated, and I was making her repeat the problems that she needed to, repeat for her to get an 80%. That's kind of what I have with my daughters. You have to get an 80% or you have to redo the problems that you got wrong. So anyway, I didn't realize the kind of pressure that was putting on her. And, we're dealing with little human beings. So it's not just like, oh, you do things right and everything's going to respond right. No, you're a broken person mentoring another broken person. So it's like, it's complicated stuff.
Right.
And so she's believing lies and thinking things about herself that I'm not saying, but she's believing that I'm saying, or she's believing that I'm
Yes.
pushing on her. And so we had a really good conversation, and I tried to really identify, besides meeting her emotional needs and assuring her that a lot of the things that she was believing were untrue, and also explaining where I'm coming from. I really tried to pinpoint the triggers. So I told her instead, and my ES gave me this idea, instead of telling her you have to get 80% or you have to redo the problems, which gets her really worked up. And so then what happens is during the lesson, instead of like her following her instincts and trusting herself that she knows it.
There's all this fear about if she misses any, then she's got to redo them.
Exactly.
She's pretty anxious about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is not helping her thinking process, her thought process in math. Because a lot of times she's got the right answer, but she's like, I'm going to get it wrong. I know it because I'm terrible at math. And then boom,
Right.
So I told her, instead of that, no matter what grade you get, we're going to choose 2 problems and we're going to do them together.
Oh.
And so you're going to choose 2 problems that you really want help with. And I just saw like the
All the pressure just
Yeah.
went.
Now I told her, if I see that you're consistently getting low grades, we're gonna have to go back and figure out what that is, like,
Yeah.
and it's not because I want you to be perfect. It's because I want you to succeed in math. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so she understood. Another trigger was cursive. So, I have her do dictate in cursive, but I'm constantly on her case, like, no, magic C. We do the handwriting without tears. That's not, Isabella. That's not how you do a C. And
Right.
that just gets her all worked up. So I was like, okay, I promise to lay off. I promise to give you time during
Yeah.
prepared dictation. You just practice at your pace, no pressure. So, you don't realize sometimes the pressure you're putting on your kids.
Right.
So that was very.
Somebody the other day said something about their handwriting, and they've been writing that way, forever. And I go, okay, so you either have good handwriting or you have bad. Like some of the pressure I think we put on them is because I know for me, I want them to have nice handwriting like me.
Right?
And I'm like, what is that? Your dad's handwriting?
Right? I know. I have terrible handwriting, so I don't, I think it's that fear, and that's again, that's a trigger for us, that we
Right.
have to identify what's triggering our fears to then put fear in our kids, and it's
No,
just this vicious
absolutely.
cycle.
If you find yourself homeschooling from a place of fear, then you're going to be stressed out. You're going to be worked up. You're not going to be enjoying it, and the kids aren't going to be having fun.
No, and my daughter flat out told me this homeschool year has been miserable for me. She told me, yeah, she goes in.
And it's only week 10.
Yeah, and she's like, I don't know what's going on, Mom, but you're making me miserable. And I was like, okay, let's talk, And so that was a really good stopping point for me to be like, what is making you feel miserable? Because I
Right.
thought we were, and like, I thought we were having a good school year,
Right.
But my daughter's getting older, and she's got, she even, it was even so good that she even said, you know what, Mom, sometimes I'm all about getting things done, so maybe that's something I should change too. Like, I go, yeah, honey, I want you to enjoy it. It's not about getting things done. What do you want to get done for? Like, what do you want to go do? Like,
Right.
so even talking about those perspectives was really helpful. So
That is so
anyway,
great.
yeah.
My husband went through kind of a similar talk about lies you're believing and all that with David and Angela the other day,
good.
like last week, and it has made a huge difference in David's attitude during the day and just being present. And I'm really huge on freedom ministry at our church, which is basically just letting people know in our community it's okay not to be okay. That there is hope and there is freedom for us when we come forward and admit that we're having issues or that we're believing certain things. And sometimes we don't even know the lies that we're believing that cause us to react in a certain way or cause us to put up walls of defense. And we can get free from those things. And so I just feel, really just joyful this week after,
Seeing
them
that.
doing that. Yeah, and I'm so excited for
good.
Isabella too, because I can see that she was kind of struggling.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and we had that writing workshop at the library, and every time you guys would ask her questions, she would look at me, and I'm like, why are you looking? Like, it made me feel so bad. I was like, she's just thinking, oh my gosh, I better get this right, or my mom's gonna be mad at me, And I'm like, that's not what I want her to feel, and that's not where
Right.
I'm coming from either. But she sees me as this ogre, wanting her to be perfect, and I'm like,
Right.
that's not. So, oh man, this is a journey. And another I think real breakthrough moment for me was realizing that this is what homeschool is, guys. I think when we have this expectation of arrival of like, okay, well, one day we're gonna have this like smooth, everything's gonna flow. It just doesn't happen. It's like life. Like you never get to a super smooth. Yeah, sure, you'll have great days. But I think if we look at it from the perspective of this is what homeschool is. It's messy. It's a constant battle of finding ourselves and helping our children find their way and pointing them to Jesus. And
Well, and if you think about it, it's really a conduit for pointing them to Jesus,
That's
for
all it is,
molding
yeah.
them into the people that they're going to be, for helping them discover who they are. It's not about the academics.
It's really not. Yeah.
And that is where the fear tells us we have to focus on the academics, right? Because they're not going to succeed, and they're going to fall behind, and all of that stuff keeps us from really embracing what it's all about,
Yeah.
which is about molding and discipling our children.
Yeah. I think really embracing. Oh, we had such a great talk. This will have to be for another video, but we had such a great preaching yesterday at our church about receiving our human limits. We're not God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just
That's so good. I
receiving
think
that.
after this, we're going to talk
Yeah.
for 2 hours about that, because
It was so
that is so good. And I
Yeah.
have some stuff to say about that too.
And so I want to encourage you guys, receive your human limits. It's okay, like you said, to not be okay, and it's okay to be incapable of fixing ourselves and fixing our kids.
Because
It's
we're
okay.
not.
I
That's
know.
why we need Jesus.
Yes.
And
This is going to be emotional.
well, people expect that the pastor and the pastor's family have everything all together, and they don't. I feel like I want to be the spokesperson to say that it's not true.
Yeah.
That it's okay. I need help lots of times, and that's okay, because I'm just walking this journey.
Like everybody else.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Well, I think we can probably we got to wrap it up here, but it is about that time where we're all starting to feel burnt out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're like 10 weeks in. So right now is a good time to lighten up your schedule, do some fun things. I know I'm going to do a Disney theme all of next week because we're going to Disneyland the 15th. So
fun.
I'm going to just kind of lighten it up and make it really fun for them. And of course, I have this like gnawing voice in my head, but what about your curriculum, Bookshark? You're not going to get, and I just have to be like, go away. Nothing's going to happen. They're not going to die from not knowing more stuff about Russia. You know what I mean? Like it's
right.
So it's okay to do that kind of stuff, to take time off, to go to the zoo and just, lighten things up, because we're all pretty like tired.
Yeah. Well, reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? You got to keep the kids doing their math on a regular basis. And I really had a talk with my kids. You got to get 4 math lessons done a week, however that looks.
Yeah.
So that means doing math on Saturdays sometimes.
Yeah.
Probably every Saturday, to be honest. But so we're still working on that. And then reading, staying up with their, read alouds and their readers. And I caught my kids, David and James, they both admitted to me though, that they started just like David just kind of skimmed through the Born in the Year of Courage, like reading like the first couple of sentences and then kind of skimming through. So he didn't know any of the answers to the questions I was asking him. And James said he kind of started tuning out, right around the middle of the book. It started getting boring, and he stopped paying attention. So I made them go back and reread it.
Yeah, to gauge, like, even the read alouds, like, sometimes Isabella just tunes me out.
Oh, yeah, whether
I'm
they're
like,
actually paying
Are
attention.
you listening right
Well,
now?
every once in a while with the read alouds, I'll stop and
Me
say,
too.
you guys did not react. You're not paying attention. This is what happened.
I know, but I think that's part
and
of
the one
it.
we're reading right now, it doesn't flow really well, so I find myself messing up with the punctuation, like not getting the right,
Intonation. And
yeah,
stuff.
that it just comes out kind of like blah,
Yeah.
and I'll go, oh my gosh, let me reread that because something happened and we didn't
And we
catch
missed it.
Yeah.
Well, I think lastly, what we want to talk about is like curriculum and schedule. So right now is a good time to revisit your schedule. Is it working? Is it not? Feel free to change it. Like, just change it.
Yes, we give you permission to make changes.
Yeah, it's okay. We've changed our schedule a lot of times, but we still don't have it figured out. I think we're gonna like figure it out soon, and maybe not. Maybe we're just gonna like go with the flow the whole year.
The whole year.
But the also curriculum. If it's time to make changes. If the curriculum's not working for you or you need to tweak it to your needs, then it's a good time
And
to
we've
do
talked
that.
about that with the math curriculum and
Yeah.
stuff, the way you've had to change, and even the point of school, when we were talking about this with high school, is not finishing this conglomerate of work, right? You finish this folder of work and then you get a diploma. That model is false.
Yeah.
The idea is to enjoy learning,
Learning.
to engage in the learning, to be an active participant in growing as a person.
Yeah.
And so that is not curriculum specific.
Right.
That even isn't material specific as far as you need to hit all of these things, because that's going to, like, I've learned so much since I've been a homeschool mom that I didn't know before. So I was succeeding pretty well without that knowledge.
Right. I know. No, I think that's so important because life skills and learning how to learn should be our top goals. You know, obviously besides
Right.
like our number one goal is pointing them to Christ for us. You know, that's our belief. That's our core belief. That's our reason why we started homeschooling, is discipling our children and spending time with them. But learning how to learn, they can learn anything then in life. You know.
Yeah, so if a certain book or a certain math is not working, feel free to toss it and start something new.
Yeah. All right. So we'll just give you a quick example to stop because we're 21 minutes in. But
Oh my gosh!
thanks for sticking around.
We talk so much.
It was good though. Good stuff. So our co-op. We'll just give an example of how we simplified.
Oh, yes.
So a nice co-op, and now it grew, and so now we have 11 kids in our co-op, a total of 15 people with the moms. So we've had to make some changes because when we first started the co-op, we were just really sitting around the table and having tea and really discussing, and it seemed very light because there was less kids that were younger too. So as our kids are getting older, and we started to become really ambitious and really kind of overloading the work that we wanted to do in co-op, and we found ourselves not really enjoying it too much.
Yeah, the first couple of co-ops of this year, we were getting used to, having the bigger group, but also I think moms were feeling a little kind of tense and like, oh, I think we're putting too much.
It just wasn't
into it.
refreshing like co-op used to be.
And like it should be.
Yeah, like it should be. So we made some changes. We said, no, let's just keep it enriching, you know, and light and fun. And it's been night and day.
So much better.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
great.
And just always engage and change.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. So anyway, that's it. Let's see if we have any comments. I don't know how to do this.
Well,
no, I don't see
probably
anything.
would show up. But...
Oh yeah, all messages are visible. Okay. All right, cool. Well, if you didn't catch this live and you have comments or questions, put them in the comments down below. We'd love to hear from you and chat with you. We're all about being real and vulnerable, and we hope that this inspires you to be the same. Find somebody that you can be real and vulnerable with that is going to walk this messy life with you, because we can't do it alone. So
yeah, and take time to just really reflect on where you're at with your own heart, with your family, with your kids' emotions, and spend that time, because it's really valuable and you want to enjoy the journey. You want to look back and say that you really put the most important thing first. First things first, right?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for joining us. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and we'll catch you on the next video. Bye. All right.